Another major part of day 3 of the preliminary exam for John Skelton was the duffel bag that was found outside of a relative's home and the searches that followed for the boys who were now missing. I'm Melissa Andrews, a crime and investigative reporter and anchor covering the preliminary exam of John Skelton in Lenawee County, Michigan. Skelton served 15 years for causing the disappearance of his 3 sons in 2010. They have never been found, and he is now charged with their murders. So this is day 3, and a woman named Renee O'Brien testified that on Black Friday, which is the day that the boys were discovered missing, that she was staying at her boyfriend at the time's house named Brian O'Brien. So she was leaving for work. She worked in healthcare, and she tripped over this duffel bag on the porch of his home. And she said she woke him up to ask about this duffel bag, and he said that her brother was going to come stay. And she was like, no, he's not. But she said that she never opened the bag or touched the bag. So her now husband, Brian O'Brien, took the stand. He is John's cousin, and said that Renee woke him up and he believed that the items belonged to the Skelton boys. There were 3 coats and 3 toothbrushes. His mother, Charlene, testified that she called police about the bag, and Brian said that eventually they gave this bag to the police. Now, it was not clear during his testimony how much time had elapsed between when Renee and he discovered the bag, when John may have left the bag, and when it was given to police, because it was later in the afternoon on the 26th that the boys were declared missing. I think the first police showed up at like 4:30 in the afternoon. Renee is saying that this bag was found between 2:30 and 3 in the morning. So you give it even a little bit after then, to where family probably didn't even know for a couple more hours. So we don't know exactly what the timeline was, how many hours between when the bag was found and when they gave it over to police. So Brian, his testimony is important because he obviously is related to John. He and his mother own nearly 5 acres on 2 parcels with a lot of wooded property, and he described river bottoms that run for miles. So after Andrew, Tanner, and Alexander were reported missing, Brian said that he did join several searches that stretched for miles for these boys. He described searching river bottoms near his home and areas around State Line Farms, which he described as a large farm. He also said the searches extended into Pioneer, Ohio, essentially going from Morenci to Pioneer, covering areas in Michigan and Ohio. He said at times there were 30 to 50 people searching. They searched for days and they never found a clue. So Brian said in December of 2010, he went to visit John in jail. He acknowledged on cross-examination that investigators did coordinate this visit and urge him to make this visit to try to get information about where the boys were. And when the defense asked him whether he was working for the police, he said, no, I was working for the boys. So Brian testified during this jail conversation that John told him he did give the boys away, but did not remember to whom. So this is multiple accounts of different things that John has now said from different people. According to Brian, John did not explain why he gave them away. And the defense also questioned Brian about his perspective going into this visit. And he acknowledged that his family also wanted him to try to get information out of John about the boys, because they believed that John killed the boys because John was the last person with the boys. But the defense again asks, was John a good dad? Did John love the boys? And Brian said yes. So this portion of the testimony really covers the appearance of this mysterious duffel bag, the immediate search for Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner, and again, the family's attempts to get John to tell them where the boys are.